By now, we've all seen the rising tensions between North Korea and the United States. Rather than let the issue of the country's 27-year-old leader with an illegal nuclear weapons program sit by and continue, like Obama did, President Trump is confronting the issue head-on, and has been since the very start of his administration. Interestingly, it seems that he's been able to make a deal with the president of China, Xi Jinping, to put leverage on North Korea, an accomplishment no U.S. president has ever achieved since the end of the brutal Korean War in 1953. This week, President Trump and his senior intelligence officials made the attention-grabbing and unprecedented step of calling all 100 U.S. senators to the White House to brief them on North Korea. Many senators reported coming out of the meeting looking ghost-faced, and multiple sources confirmed to rebel media that options for military strikes on North Korea were discussed as a possible means of forcibly ending Kim Jong-un's nuclear weapons program. Now, in a public statement, Secretary of Defense Mattis and Secretary of State Tillerson stated the U.S. remains open to negotiations, but we remain prepared to defend ourselves and our allies in the region. They also discussed adding North Korea to the list of state sponsors of terrorism due to reports of North Korea selling weapons that ended up in the hands of al-Qaeda. Now, everyone saw President Trump's big meeting recently with the Chinese president, Mar-a-Lago. It was timed at the exact time as the Syrian missile strike. In fact, it's been reported that Trump informed Xi of the strike just as the chocolate cake was being served. So, at the time, that seemed interesting. Was that a veiled threat to China? Let's put it in context with everything else that's been going on. Early on, the Trump administration indicated that it viewed North Korea as a top threat to the United States. They were the top. Greatest threat. In fact, President Obama told Trump on his final day in office that he also believed North Korea was the greatest threat to the United States due to their unrestrained nuclear weapons program and a developing capability for ballistic missiles that could be loaded on submarines or other vehicles and used to attack the U.S. or its allies. Last year, Trump stated China should solve the problem of North Korea, and if they can't, we should make trade very hard for them. Now, Trump doesn't speak Mandarin, but as a billionaire businessman, he and the Chinese speak the same language of dollars and cents and renminbi. But it's not 1950 anymore. China has billions invested in South Korea. They don't want to see the two countries go to war. Combined, North and South are still smaller than the state of Michigan, but filled with 75 million people, including tens of thousands of U.S. troops. Trump may have gotten China to realize that North Korea's nukes are a much bigger threat to Beijing than they had first realized. So what do we see next? We then saw China sending North Korean coal ships back after China canceled their orders. This is a huge economic setback for North Korea. China also canceled oil exports to North Korea and even direct flights between Beijing and Pyongyang. The Chinese Communist Party Global Times published an article saying that North Korea must drop its nuclear program or else. Another development, not much noted, but very, very significant, was a statement this week of the Association of Southeastern Asian Nations, ASEAN. They said that they would adopt a softer stance on Beijing in the South China Sea dispute. Now, after years of outrage and even a United Nations trial, suddenly the leaders of the Philippines and other nations are stopping their huge protest of China building islands with military capabilities in international waters. So what is going on here? Why the big switch? Why the big changes so fast? Is this the Trump effect? How could so much have changed so quickly? For years, China has been the patron state of North Korea, their sole supporter in the world. But now, has China flipped? Political analyst Sundance at the conservative treehouse made the following argument, and I paraphrase: "There's no President Trump policy capable of reversing the position of China in the South China Sea. The islands are there already. Done is done. However, the international view of legitimacy around these islands still carries major political leverage if applied to a greater regional need of similar consequence, like North Korea. If true, this represents one of the biggest negotiations for the new deal-maker-in-chief and possibly one of the fastest resolutions of a major crisis in world history. If this all bears out, President Trump will have come up with a plan to eliminate North Korea's nuclear program and sold it peaceably to the People's Republic of China, all in less than 100 days as president. Jack Posobiec, your Washington Bureau Chief for The Rebel. Hey, keep up with the news and updates from DC, smash that like button, and click subscribe to Rebel Media.